team to move the village forward. I'm going to speak of a specific issue right now. It's our police and fire pension shortfall. We are currently funded at 40%. State law requires by the year 2040, we are 90% funded. This is a big deal. As everybody knows, in the last year, interest rates went from an all-time low to a multi-decade high. What does that mean? Well, we can't issue a bond right now. This week, Fed Chairman Powell has indicated he's going to raise rates by at least another 100 basis points, or 1 full percentage point. However, it's not all doom and gloom. The U.S. Treasury market is trading what's called an inverted yield curve. That means short-term rates are much higher than long-term rates. What does that mean for us? Well, an inverted yield curve has been the most accurate prediction of a downturn in the economy since 1960. With the downturn comes lower rates, hence the inverted yield curve. So in 2 years, if rates drop, we can not only issue the bond with economic development, we can pay for the bond. Philosophically, we cannot dwell on the past, but if we ignore the past, we cannot learn from the past. And that applies to all village issues. We can't play the big blame game. We want to learn from the past and move forward. Thank you.
Kevin Canfield.
Good morning. I'm Kevin Canfield, and I am running for trustee with the Citizens for Westchester. I believe this group of individuals are ones who will put citizens first and not themselves. I'm an 11-year resident, married for 44 years, father of 4 adult children, grandfather of 5. I'm a retired union electrician of 44 years. In that capacity, I have worked at every level of supervision, including project management and design. For 4 years, I left the working field and worked in the building department for the Village of Oak Park as the electrical inspector. There I worked firsthand inside a municipality, working daily with many departments of local government. Since moving here and following village politics, there has been the same recurring issues plaguing multiple boards. Problems in hiring a competent village manager along with other department heads. Issues in being transparent in finances. At times, the board has gone months without even being able to review complete financials. This cycle must stop. So where does Westchester stand today? We currently have no permanent full-time village manager, no public works director, no finance director, along with the support staff for them. We currently own $2.9 million of real estate that we aren't even sure is suitable for Village Hall and Public Works. We are also under an internal investigation and forensic audit. We have $42 million of unfunded police and fire pension debt. Citizens deserve none of this, none of these issues. This is where we're at. So now, in my closing statement, I'll point out where we should go.
Travis Morris. Thank you very much. And hello, everyone. I am Travis Morris, and I'm running for trustee. I've been living in Westchester now for 34 years. And you know, I really love the community in which I live. I would like to introduce myself as a trustworthy and an honest individual who will always put the interests of the community first. A graduate of Wiley College from Marshall, Texas, I began my professional career as a supervisor, customer service, and a training administrator for Allstate Insurance Company in the Midwest branch office, where I wrote several training modules on time management, dealing effectively with disgruntled employees, equal employment opportunity, and so forth. Later, my career led me to become a sales representative for Pitney Bowes and a national sales manager for A&B Office Machinery, where I had an opportunity to travel extensively throughout the United States and set up training for curriculums that went at the end of printing presses. But because of my belief in entrepreneurship, afterwards, I opened up my own mortgage brokerage firm, a Home Loan Mortgage Corporation, where I was responsible for compliance, training, loan origination, mortgage lending, and processing. Westchester has great value and is centrally located, as you heard. But after many years of seeing the distrust in our village officials, I knew it was time for us to make a change for the better. Westchester can be one of the jewels in this Western corridor. This can be a beacon of light for not only for those that live here now, but for future ones that will be coming to Westchester. However, we must tackle the systemic problems that we are currently facing. I will work hard to replace and represent the needs of the people and the wants of the village. I will listen to your concerns. I will work with you to find solutions that will benefit us all. If elected, I will work tirelessly to create positive change and make a meaningful impact in our community. The village of Westchester has tremendous responsibilities and possibilities, and the public service part of Westchester plan is one that will do this work. Vanessa Sanchez.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to be able to introduce myself today. I am Vanessa Sanchez. I'm a newer resident to Westchester, but I think that's what makes me so excited about being in front of you all today. I graduated from the University of Illinois Champaign-Urbana, and my background is in sociology. Sociology is the study of societal issues and how to resolve them. I'm coming before you with 13 years of nonprofit management experience. I've had the pleasure of working with thousands of individuals on several preventative topics such as violence prevention, substance use prevention, teen pregnancy prevention, and other school initiatives. I've had the pleasure of working in Proviso Township for our teen pregnancy prevention initiatives. And currently I am working as a community advocacy director at a startup agency. It's been a delight to be able to serve the people, and my background allows me to understand the structures that are needed to see a community progress. And what happens when that doesn't happen? You have other issues that are impacting you, your family, your dollars, and your investment. So the reason why I'm here today is because although I am newer, I do have just a clear vision of what I would hope to see in this community. I came here and bought a single family home. I did some work to it. I made a pretty nice investment to that. And I would like to stay there. I would like to build a family. I would like to see, the community progress as a whole. And just knowing currently what has been happening and what has happened in the past, I know that things can get better. It does take involvement. I encourage folks to ask questions, and I would love to be that representative face who also shows a bit of diversity on the panel as well.
Victoria Van.
Hello, esteemed guests and fellow community members. I am here before you today to discuss my candidacy for trustee for the Village of Westchester. My choosing to run for office extends from my 20 years experience in public service, in asset management, community engagement, strategic planning, and economic development. As a current public servant, an entrepreneur, former caregiver, and the granddaughter of a veteran, I know what it takes to get the job done. In my current role as a community and neighborhood investment specialist for the Department of Housing and Urban Development, I evaluate real estate transactions, multi-million-dollar real estate transactions for the nation, consisting of dispositions, repositions, demolitions, eminent domain, land swaps, and obsolescence, including environmental reviews. This is done with my expert knowledge in federal regulation and policy and statute. I currently have a master's from Northwestern University in communication. I have a bachelor's from DePaul University in industrial organization psychology. I have an entrepreneur certification from Cornell University. I have a project management certification from Loyola University. I've sat on several leadership labs. I've studied abroad in London and in France. I'm also a licensed realtor. I am also a graduate from the School of Ministry Living Word. I also have a foundation known as Eugene Baker Joy Band Memorial Scholarship Foundation. And my most proudest accomplishment is that I'm a mother to an 11-year-old brilliant son. Thank you for your time.
Michael Wright.
Well, good afternoon, Westchester. I am so excited just to be able to have the opportunity to run for this position. I've been a resident of Westchester for 22 years. My children have been raised here in Westchester. I have 3 boys. I have 1 son playing in the AFL for the Frisco Fighters. I have another son who has a full scholarship, basketball scholarship at Trinity Christian School. And also I have a son who's going to follow in my footsteps in ministry at Moody Bible Institute. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to just be able to talk because my resume is screen service, because I'm a part of the Public Servant Party, and our job is to take the trustee position and give it back to the people. You see, what I do is this. I'm a member, or I should say I sit on the board of Extreme Intervention, which is an organization that takes young men and mature them and to mentor them into young adults, real young adults, moving them away from drugs and gangs and violence and things of that nature. I'm also the chairman of the Crisis Pregnancy Center of Austin, which is affiliate of the Caring Network, which helps young women with diapers and with baby wipes and with other things that can help them with unplanned pregnancies. I worked at Proviso East High School for 13 years. I was the in-school suspension supervisor, the most dangerous position in Proviso Township. And yes, I also coached the JV baseball team at Proviso. I coached the freshman basketball team, men's and women's, and also the men's sophomore basketball team. I worked at Ford Motor Company in the UAW, and my degree is in political science, where I graduated from Southern University. I'm excited to be here, and I think that if you vote for me and vote for the Public Servant Party, I believe you've made the right choice.
I believe the last candidate is running for clerk, Dana Bax.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dana Bax, and I'm running for clerk. I'm a 20-plus year veteran of the federal government, where I still remain working in the federal government. Very proud federal government worker. I'm a former local school board elected official. I have 2 teenage sons, 17 and 15. They're fabulous, and I'm proud that they still love their mom, and they don't give me too much trouble as of yet. They go to Fenwick High School. We moved to Westchester just 2 years ago. I was looking for a place that was quiet and that could be very accessible, and I just love the neighborhood and the potential of Westchester. But I got involved in this because I live back door to the St. Joe's property, and I was alarmed at what was being proposed there. And it scared me because I spent a lot of money on my house back in 2021 at height of the market, and it scared me that I could lose all the money that I put in. And so I want to remain involved so I can make sure that Westchester remains the place that I wanted it to be, and potential for it when I purchased my home. Some things that are very important to me. I want to make sure that the village is properly maintained. You know, I have a 65-year-old home. You guys all have old homes. Just in the way that we have to maintain our homes, the village should be responsible for the maintenance of the streets, of the street lighting, of all the infrastructure, all the things that we see daily that can make or break our town and can add or take away from its beauty. So that's very important to me. I want to make sure that, you know, I'm getting value for the taxes that I pay. Economic development is very important to me. Take the pressure off homeowners to provide all the money to fund all the services in the town. Accountability to residents when they put in service requests. And ethics are very important to me too.
That's your time.
We'll have time for probably a couple of questions and closing to ongoing project.
So, knowing that we have 3 slates, I'm going to pose these questions. If you all can take these by slate and designate one person to answer per slate so that we can get as many different questions in as possible. And all of your slates will be represented in the question and answer period. Is that okay? And these questions are going to be the ones that were not able to be asked of presidential candidates. So just so that we can cover as many of these as possible. the first question is about the post office and the new village hall. What is happening with the post office? And I'll try to actually bunch these together. So this is regarding the village hall, and I'm gonna see if I can segue into your thoughts on the need for strategic planning for the village, so to handle future development such as the village hall move and the other things that the village is doing. So we're starting here. Anybody from the Citizens for Westchester slate want to answer that question? And then we'll go down toward the right. I believe the Public Servant Party is last. Who's in the middle?
They're all mixed.
Okay, yeah, that's why it's a little confusing. So Citizens for Westchester, you want to designate one person to answer? I'm sorry. So trying to put these together. So the question is regarding strategic planning for the village. And what are your thoughts about strategic planning? And then secondly, how does that relate to specific developments such as the potential new village hall that could be happening in the future? So I'm trying to get as many of these different questions together. Okay.
Strategic planning, that's very important. We purchased 2 buildings on Enterprise Drive. We are currently paying $168,000 a year in interest. So that was not planned out. So we have to determine, can we use these buildings? Are they suitable for public works? Are they suitable for village hall? If not, we have to move on from it quickly. And that comes with strategic planning. We can't purchase furniture for a house that wasn't spec'd out yet. That's strategic planning. If you're remodeling your house, you don't buy furniture until it's done, it's spec'd out. So the blueprints are done. That's strategic planning. So we need better strategic planning.
Okay. Sorry for the slight confusion. I'm still trying to get, there's a lot of y'all and a lot of questions. So the second party, Ryan Wright, Gia Benline, and Victoria Van, you're running with the Daniel Maldonado's party. Either of you want to take that question pertaining to strategic planning?
Okay, so here's the deal with strategic planning. It takes foresight and a vision and organization. You have to understand the process and you understand check and balances. With the whole enterprise development, this has been an ongoing rhetorical concern. We know it wasn't the best idea. We get that. The residents understand that. So what happens next? Well, we have to look into our processes. We have to understand what development is. And then after we understand what development is, then we have to make sure that it's actually economically logical for us to move forward in whatever direction we feel that collectively is the best direction for Westchester. So I have 15 seconds. So in terms of strategic planning, I'll close with this. It takes all of our voices to be a part of that plan, and we all have to collectively work together to rebuild the plan. Thank you.
Thank you. And someone from the Public Servant Party want to respond to that question? And I can repeat it if necessary.
As far as strategic plan goes, the Public Servant Party of Westchester really feels that in order to make a positive strategic plan, you have to understand the process and procedures that are already in place, the history of that, and examine what has worked and what has failed. In that exploration, we're able to determine how we can move forward, but the inclusion of the community voice is extremely important. Decisions should go to the community and an opportunity for public surveying to hear what are the needs and the wants of our community, as well as what is the best direction that we should take in order to build upon that. hearing from the public voice while also bringing the experience and knowledge of the board should be the movement that goes moving forward. You cannot build without filling in the gaps of your baseline, and creating a strategic plan would fill in that baseline to make us secure moving forward.
So next question, we'll start with Public Servant Party, and then someone from Daniel Maldonado slate will answer, and then someone from Citizens for Westchester. This is regarding the role of the trustee. What are your collective understandings of the role of village trustee? And to give Ms. Bax an opportunity to respond in her separate role as clerk, what is your role of clerk? Since you're running for a separate office, and I want to make sure you're allowed to get some comments in as well. So we can actually start with you, Dana, and then.
Sure. Hi again, Dana Bax. So I'm running for clerk, and I would be responsible for the clerk's office and all of the services that the clerk's office provides, including licenses and permits, local elections, being the person of the board meetings in charge of all the correspondence, and ensuring that all of the records are stored. When there's communication in between board members, it's a responsibility of the clerk to make sure that the trustees, the members of the board, are able to see that correspondence. I'm responsible for appointing persons to work in the clerk's office and to discharge the duties of the clerk, which I'm sure I will do because it's a part-time position. So I want to ensure that those persons are qualified. And I would just want to see that processes in place are adhering to the needs of the residents and make sure that they are properly modernized.
Well, in dealing with the role of the trustee, I believe that obviously we approve budgets, village budgets. Obviously, we hire the village manager, and obviously we tried our best to hold code enforcement accountable so that our city doesn't go down, but it goes up. We know the specific little details of the trustee, but the main thing, what our goal is that we want to hear the people. The job of the trustee is not to make decisions isolated. The job of the trustee is not to make decisions independently. It is to represent the will of the people. How do we do that? Through polls. How do we do that? By surveys. How do we do that? By public hearings, where we all come together and we have a discussion. That's been lacking. That's why we ended up with that Joe's debacle. That's why we ended up with that Enterprise Drive, because we did not talk and we were not transparent. So what we want to do as trustees, our job is to represent the will of the people.
Thank you. Someone from Mr. Maldonado slate.
The role of a trustee. As a trustee, I will serve the community with a willingness to work hard while understanding the needs, desires, and aspirations of its residents. Trustees listen and interact with residents, but most importantly, collaborate with you. As a trustee, I will be a member of the village's board. This involves voting on matters of concern to the community and positions as to what is best for the village and the residents. I am here to represent the citizens of Westchester and to vote on decisions that are in the best interest of the residents.
Thank you. And someone from Citizens for Westchester.
As a trustee, our primary role is to represent you, the constituents. We are here to be that voice for those that cannot speak for themselves. And by that, I take it personally in a way to ensure that I show up. So that means attending the meetings, ensuring that we bring forth ideas for the betterment of the community. And also just, as I mentioned before, just advocating for those that cannot advocate for it for themselves. There are different, the trustees also bring forth ordinances for the betterment of the village, and they vote upon those. And as such, I pledge to do that.
Thank you. This next question is about business attraction, retention, and development. What are your thoughts about how the board can deal with developers and attract businesses to Westchester? And Mr. Maldonado's slate will go first. The Public Servant Party will go second, and then Citizens of Westchester. What are your thoughts on the board's responsibility for retaining and attracting businesses in town and wider economic development?
So as for Westchester with business, Westchester has always had that entrepreneurship mentality of small business, and we want to keep this alive. We want current businesses to thrive, and we want new businesses to open. With my experience in certifying businesses for minority-owned, women-owned, business-owned by people with disabilities, and veteran-owned, this will not only bring current business new funding, but it will allow businesses to grow, reaching new customers, new platforms, and new opportunities. As trustees, we need to be focused on creating relationships with agencies that will generate economic incentives. We need to be dedicated to provide small business resources to start businesses, including webinars, agencies who help business counseling, and bring and enhance economic development to the city, to the village of Westchester.
Thank you. Could I get just a little more volume on this, Mike, please, if you could. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. When it comes to attracting new businesses to the Westchester, village of Westchester, this has to be an ongoing process that should have manifested itself many, many years ago. We have many businesses in Westchester that have come, but their longevity was not right. You have to provide an environment for these businesses who want to stay in Westchester as a place to thrive, as a place where their citizens can come and they can shop or they can do business. Because what this is doing, this has a twofold effect. It will keep those businesses thriving, keep those businesses healthy, but will also help bring more tax dollar revenue into the village also. So what do we need to do? We need to think about maybe perhaps how we can partner with federal, state government for grants for some of the local businesses that we have, so that we can help them to improve their properties, improve their facades, so that Westchester will be an attractive place for businesses. If you go down the Westchester corridor of Roosevelt Road and Manheim, you don't really see the type of facades and businesses that would attract new businesses.
I think we're already at 12:42, so just so you know.
Attracting businesses. I have had discussions with several small entrepreneurs in this village who find the resources the village provides being terribly short in their ability to help. We need to shore up our pro-business, pro-development forms of making people want to come. Part of the idea of these TIFs is these TIFs are large developments that attract business that then will bleed into further into the community to develop smaller businesses, to let the small entrepreneur get a chance, have a shot. So it really starts with our community development team, that they really need to be pro-business.
Try again.
Thank you. Okay, we got, it's 10 of you all. We have less than 20 minutes left. That means maybe 2 questions. if you all take 1 minute each. If you all, you would commit to 30 seconds so that we can get more questions in, and I could actually, all of you could actually answer the same question, which was a concern from the audience. If that's okay, we can at least get in 3 or 4, but within, we can stay within the 1 o'clock limit, if that's okay.
I've got a closing speech too.
And you also have a closing speech, right? So let's do 2 questions, 30 seconds each, all of you can answer, and then we can add it to your closing comments, just to be, so that everybody can get a chance to answer the same question, which was a concern that was brought up from the audience. And then we'll just, for this one, we'll go from the right to the left, okay? And the question is, how can the village improve communication with residents? 30 seconds, and you can start.
I believe the village can improve communications by having a more robust website for one, and also as we go forward, that ensuring that our monthly newsletter goes out and incorporates things that we are discussing during our regular business meetings.
To increase communication, I will be dedicated to keep residents informed and in the know of meetings, minutes, budgets, and ideas. Insist on newsletters, help to facilitate an updated and user-friendly website, and be present and always show up.
Having a centralized page on Facebook to where all residents can go to that one page to get the different information through for the library, the park district, and the local government.
Improved village newsletter, improved village website, and it's our responsibility to be more visible, such as Trustee Slavic is. It's very important that we put ourselves out there. That's part of the communication. It's very important.
Yes, the newsletter does definitely need to contain more information regarding the works of the board, the works of the village president, what we are focusing on. And the website is actually been improved, but it still has a long way to go to be fully accurate, and it's just accurate.
Yes, I think one way that we can improve it is by transparency. When you're transparent about the things that you're doing, you are willing to have those things be open and for the public to know about them. And I think with that transparency, you will see us wanting to have more of these things in the publications, not only the publications, but also on our website. And of course, yes, our website does need to be updated. It's lagging a little bit behind, but yes, we do need to improve that also.
I would say a great way to increase communication is just offering more opportunities for folks to gather. This is a beautiful representation of what our town is, and seeing faces makes the difference. Having attended the board meetings, they're very low attended. It's really sad, but I also contribute that to the culture that is the board meetings. Creating a welcoming space where folks feel they can ask questions and that you can be educated is a big move that we can do.
To echo everyone else, I totally agree that yes, the website needs to be updated, absolutely. It needs to be updated with timely information, accurate information, easily accessible information. Yes, we have a newsletter, but it should be electronic as well. And that information also should be timely. Above all of that, I want to talk about interconnectedness. We are very siloed sometimes here in Westchester, and so it is important that we take the initiative to get to know each other, and that we communicate as neighbors, and that we check on each other as neighbors as well. Thank you.
As been said, yes, obviously our website and Facebook and all these things need to be updated. But what I suggest is that we maybe hire a part-time social media director, because obviously social media is how we communicate now. It's not just sending letters in the mail. It's not just looking at a newsletter. It's through social media, through Instagram, through Facebook, and not just Facebook putting on an ad, or I should say not just putting on a post, but we should do boosted posts. We should also do boosted ads where we actually invest into our communication instead of just putting something out there.
I agree with the website, the newspaper, and social media, Facebook, Instagram. I also would like to see that the village creates a log of service requests and sends a resident an email confirmation when they put in a request, so it could be followed up on and ensure it gets completed. Thank you.
Is it okay? Are you want to do the full communities? We're going to go over. Is that okay?
Can you say it's 5 minutes?
Okay. Move. Okay. So we can start from that side.
Again, my name is Dana Bax, and I'm running for clerk. I'm a 20-plus year veteran of the federal government. I'm very proud and privileged to have held the positions I've held in the federal government, and I feel that I'm a true public servant. So the Public Servant Party of Westchester is apt for me. I believe in ethics. It's every position I've taken in the federal government, I've had to have an oath of office that says I will do what is in the best interest of U.S. citizens and the U.S. taxpayer. And it's exactly what I will do as clerk of the Village of Westchester, is ensure that ethical standards are in place, and I'm acting in the best interest of the will of the residents and the taxpayers. And I'm the perfect example of that as clerk for the clerk's office and all the persons that are within my purview. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for this time. I'm just gonna say this. I'm just a regular guy who loves this city. I fell in love with this city when I was about 4 or 5 years old when I lived in Maywood. My father would drive us down Westchester Boulevard and we would look at the Christmas lights. And I said, you know what? Why, not just Westchester Boulevard, we went all throughout the city and we would see the beautiful Christmas lights. And when I was younger, I said, man, that's a place where I'd like to live. I really did. I said this at about 5 years old, believe it or not. And now that I've raised my children here, and now that I've moved here with my wife for 28 years, I'm gonna tell you something. I love my city. I love my neighbors. I love the area where I live. I went to high school at Proviso West High School. And when I was a kid, I remember how proud the other kids were that they lived in Westchester. I was living in Bellwood at the time, but they were so proud that I live in Westchester. Well, you know what? I'm proud that I live in Westchester. And I think that I would represent our city in the correct manner. I'm not a white collar person. I'm not really a blue collar person. I'm a pastor of 22 years. So I'm kind of like a gray collar person. So I'm in between. But I really, really believe that if you vote for me and vote for the Public Servant Party, it'll be a great decision for our community.
Yeah, I'll take it. You know, everybody's been throwing the word around transparency. So I'm gonna not speak from these notes and just speak to you. I moved in Westchester because Westchester reminded me of the little town that I grew up in New Jersey. Yes, I'm a Jersey girl at heart, okay? And I remember riding my bike. I remember neighbors looking out for each other, which is why interconnectedness is so important. I remember when going to Miss B house and eating all of her food. I remember all of this. And when I became a mother, I wanted the same for my son. So I looked everywhere before I purchased here in Westchester. And I'm so happy I did. I do not regret it. Westchester has so much to offer. And I'm so happy that I can be a part of your community. Here's where I'm at now. If you vote for me, I can't promise you the world, and I won't lie to you, but I'll just tell you the truth. I will represent you. I will advocate for you. I will be fair, not pick favorites. I don't have no alliances with anyone besides him. Here's what else. I want to make that this town is better, not just for my son, for all of your children moving forward. I am a proud Westchesteran. And even if I'm not elected, I'm still gonna be a part of the community. I'm still gonna knock on your doors and talk to you because I've learned so much from everyone. And Westchester has so much resources to share. And I wanna make sure that I'm a part of that sharing. If you vote for me on April 4th, I promise to represent you in full transparency. Punch number 12. Thank you.
Hi, Vanessa Sanchez again. I would like to share that my experience so far living in Westchester has been really charming and cute, and wanting to keep the culture and the representation of what Westchester is and can be. I just want to keep Westchester in the light. Personally, I am a high school softball coach on the side. I volunteer, and something that I've learned in coaching is the best way to get people to understand what you're saying is break things down. I think breaking things down, making things easy to understand is what's very important. And as being a trustee, I feel like I would be able to help support that and bring more information to community. Another thing that I do is I actually volunteer and foster abused animals in my home. And something that those animals have taught me is that patience, care, consistency are what are vital to healing any kind of trauma or issues of the past. So regardless of what happened in the past in Westchester, I do believe that we can move forward and we can build a stronger tomorrow. I hope that with using facts and empowering residents, we can truly make things better. It's up to all of us to participate, not just the people that you vote for. Show up, be vocal, you yourselves the residents, and that's what is community. So I would really hope to just help bring folks together. I would love to help guide through some of these process and procedures. And I hope that folks feel that Westchester is the place to be, to stay, and to bring more good people in.
Yes, we need responsible. Hello? Yes, again, we need responsible, excuse me, can I? Going in and out. All right, this one is so much better. We need responsible, rational representation in all forms and levels of government, whether it be governmental, national, whether it be state, whether it be local. Now, when we talk about local and we talk about the legislative level, that's where we are. Because we are a board that we are running for. This board is a community legislative board. And what this board does, it sets the power, and the power is centralized in that board. We represent the community, and we develop a long-term vision for its future. We have responsibility to approve the budgets and determine the tax rates. Additionally, not only that, but to focus on the community goals, major projects, and long-term community growth, land and use development, capital improvements and finance, all of which we've been hearing about all day. But there must be a strategic plan blueprint in place to guide this process forward. There must also be vision. And let me say that again, there must be vision. Because what is vision going to do? It's going to give us purpose, it's going to give us direction, and it's going to be clearly defined with goals. Vision has purpose, and purpose requires patience. And it's going to take some time, gentlemen, for us to turn, and ladies and gentlemen, to turn things around. But by working together, we can do this. And of course, we know that change is difficult. Why? Because it disrupts the way that we currently do things. But change is necessary. In my closing, I would just like to quote something that is a famous quote of mine that John D. Rockefeller once said. And these words, I believe, were true then, and I believe that these words still hold true today. I believe that every right implies a responsibility, every opportunity an obligation, every possession a duty. I believe that the law was made for man and not man for the law, that government is the servant of the people and not their master.
So now what? First and foremost, as trustee, you must seek a proven professional village manager. In our form of government, it is critical that that person is knowledgeable and experienced in building a village staff, a team. And that team also has to be proven in their specific areas. This village manager has to be experienced in TIF development. They must be pro-business, pro-development, and has to be experienced in turning old methods of operations into modern ways. We as a board must become partners with St. Joe's in helping to clearly lay out what is acceptable development and unacceptable development. This will help them to seek out the proper buyer. The residents, again, must be fully engaged in that process. We must continue our current ongoing negotiations with JD Realty for the Roosevelt Manheim TIF, whom we have been negotiating in good faith since September of 2022. We must constantly be seeking out fiscal responsibility and continue to strive to keep taxes affordable. We must ensure every dollar is well spent. We have to engage our seniors and hear from them. How can Westchester serve you better? We must continue to provide quality police and fire. Crime statistics are one thing, but what the residents feel about their safety is what really matters. We must totally engage and fully utilize our committees and commissions. Those residents that volunteer their time provide all the feedback that the board should be listening to. We must also be mindful of the environmental issues. We have made commitments to other communities, and we must do our best to meet those obligations. We have to lead by example.
Thank you. My speech got thrown off by the gentleman who talked about Christmas lights. I'm sorry. You know, as a teenager, I used to drive to Westchester from Cicero and go down Candy Cane Lane. So this village has always had a special place in my heart. Now in closing, I'd like to touch on a few issues. As Kevin just mentioned, the hiring of the next village manager is of insurmountable importance. The next village manager must be committed to the citizens in the village only. I'm going to speak a little bit about my qualifications. For the last 30 years, I've been dealing with Fortune 500 companies. This gives me negotiation skills, financial skills, and communication skills. I once possessed a Series 7 license, which familiarizes me with financial markets, municipal bond markets, corporate bond markets. That's very important. We live in a high-tech society. I'm very well versed there. I've been building computers for 30 years. This will come and play in day-to-day activities. But my real passion are people. I love people, all walks of life. I put myself in the shoes of those with less of a voice or no voice. I really imagine myself in the house of a senior citizen where daily tasks that we take for granted could be an insurmountable task for them. So with economic development, we can improve on our already existing senior programs, youth programs, and green initiatives. At the end of the day, I would like to bring my skill set with other skill sets and collaborate and make Westchester a better place. Thank you.
As a youth leader here in Westchester, I see the day-to-day needs of not just our voters, but also our community members, too young to have a say. Yes, we have lots of village issues that our president, village manager, and trustees will be knee-deep working in to correct what we can't forget. But we can't forget that there is an entire next generation of Westchester voters that we need to keep in mind. Our village was built as a stepping stone, and as we rebuild, it is up to us to make it a final destination. As an adult, parent or not, these kids look to us to learn. We need to teach them the meaning of being a part of a community, respect, ownership, pride, and stewardship in the community in something not only our children, but as adults need to reintroduce into our everyday lives. And though I am now in a sometimes not so friendly battle, I am proud and humbled to have 8 other Westchester residents standing next to me, willing to step up for their town. It takes a village, and I hope regardless of winning, we can all bring our amazing ideas and qualifications to the table to better our community.
If elected as trustee, you have my dedication. I am dedicated to collaborate with the Citizens Advisory Board, the Park District, the Grow Commission, the library, and our village's outstanding resources to organize and orchestrate ideas and get a plan in action for all ages. I am dedicated to the residents of Westchester. I am focused on our aging population. I am faithful to veteran resources. I am entrusted to motivate our youth. I am experienced in business development. I am committed to the safety of our village. I am in favor of green initiatives. I am tired of sitting on the sidelines, and I am ready to get in and get the job done. On April 4th, vote for me, Gia Marie Benline, trustee, punch number 11.
As the saying goes, there's no I in team. Like you, we, the citizens of Westchester, love being a part of our Westchester community. And like you, we are concerned about our village. That's why we're asking for your vote on April 4th. As a cohesive group of independents with shared values and visions, when elected to the village board, we are uniquely qualified to address your village concerns. Between us, we have the municipal experience, financial credentials, organizational experience, and personal integrity to bring stability and transparency to village finances, increase community involvement and board accountability in planning for village operations, purchases, economic development, and project management. We are asking for your vote because, like you, we are concerned about Westchester's future. As a team, Kevin McDermott, Kevin Canfield, Peter Marzano, Sophia Collins, and myself, Sherby Miller. Our direct experience, educational credentials, and commitment to the future of Westchester ensures that we will deliver for you. We're counting on your support and your vote. Thank you in advance.
Thank you. Can you give them all a round of applause?
Personally, I thank you for being very respectful. Please help clean up your stuff on your way out. You can visit as long as you want. We have 2 people that need to get moving right now, so help them be able to get out so they can get to their next events. And thank you so very, very much